What did the Zodiac Killer do next? Escaped or died? A serial killer terrorized Northern California, taunting police with cryptic ciphers and boasting of his crimes. He called himself the Zodiac, a phantom figure who struck fear into the hearts of a nation in the late 1960s and early 1970s. His reign of terror was marked not only by brutal murders, but by an unprecedented psychological game. He sent letters to newspapers and individuals, filled with veiled threats, nonsensical ramblings, and, most disturbingly, complex coded messages. These ciphers were a taunt, a challenge to the authorities, a twisted boast of his intelligence and elusiveness. The legend of the Zodiac Killer was born from these chilling missives, transforming him from a mere murderer into an enigma, a puzzle that America's best minds, and indeed the world, would spend decades trying to solve. The Zodiac Killer's known spree began in December 1968 with the shocking murder of high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday near Benicia. This was followed by another brutal attack just 7 months later, on July 4th, 1969, where Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau were gunned down in a parked car in Vallejo. The killer seemed to delight in the precise timing of his actions, often striking on holidays or in secluded, desolate areas. The press, desperate for sensational stories, quickly dubbed him the Zodiac Killer, after initial letters arrived, signed with the killer's distinctive crosshair symbol. The sheer audacity of these crimes, coupled with the killer's direct communication, set this case apart from any before it. The letters were the Zodiac's true masterpiece of terror. Sent to various newspapers, including the San Francisco Chronicle, they were a chilling blend of boastful confidences, threats, and cryptic puzzles. One of the most infamous letters, arriving in August 1969, contained a coded message designed to reveal the killer's identity. Cryptanalysts, as well as amateur sleuths, pored over the text, attempting to break the code. The killer explicitly stated his motive was to collect slaves for his afterlife, a disturbing and nonsensical claim that only added to the public's fear and fascination. He reveled in the attention, even claiming to have killed far more than the police suspected, further sowing seeds of paranoia. The first major cipher, composed of 408 symbols, was received by the San Francisco Chronicle on August 1, 1969. It was a monumental challenge. The killer claimed it would reveal his name. For nearly a week, the public and law enforcement alike was stumped. Then, on August 7th, a Salinas schoolteacher named Donald Harden, working with his wife, cracked it. Using a specific pattern of reading columns, they unearthed a rambling, often grammatically awkward confession. The decoded message read, in part, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. I have killed 37 people. I will not stop until I have killed any number of people." This message, while terrifying, did not reveal his identity, leading many to believe he had lied or deliberately obfuscated his name within the code, a deliberate act to prolong the mystery. The Zodiac Killer's final confirmed murder occurred on October 11th, 1969. Paul Stein, a 29-year-old taxi driver, was shot and killed in his cab in San Francisco's Presidio Heights neighborhood. This crime was particularly significant. Unlike his previous attacks, Stein was murdered in a relatively busy urban area. Alerted by a citizen who saw the shooting and the suspect fleeing, police officers responded rapidly. They even stopped a man matching the description just a few blocks away, but due to a bureaucratic error, the dispatcher allegedly described the killer wearing a Santa suit, a miscommunication that remains infuriatingly baffling. They let him go. This man, later identified as Arthur Lee Allen, became a prime suspect But despite overwhelming circumstantial evidence, he was never definitively linked to the crimes and died without confessing. Following the Paul Stein murder, the Zodiac Killer continued his chilling correspondence. In November 1969, he sent another, more complex cipher to the San Francisco Chronicle. This 340-symbol puzzle was a significant step up in difficulty from the first. For 54 years, this cipher remained unbroken, a testament to the killer's cunning and the sheer complexity of his code. It became the holy grail for cryptanalysts and amateur codebreakers worldwide. The frustration was palpable. Each unsolved cipher was a direct challenge, a smug victory for the killer, and a painful reminder of his freedom. The pressure on law enforcement mounted with every passing day, and the public's fear only intensified as the killer continued to taunt them from behind his coded veil. Arthur Lee Allen, a former schoolteacher and Vietnam veteran, was always a person of interest. He fit the general physical description, lived in the area, and had connections to the crime scenes. Crucially, witnesses placed him near the Lake Herman Road attack site. Moreover, he owned a Zodiac watch, the very symbol the killer used. Investigators also found a knife in his car that matched descriptions of a weapon seen with the killer. Despite overwhelming circumstantial evidence, including fingerprints that didn't match any found at the scenes, and a lack of definitive forensic links, Allen remained the most prominent suspect for decades. The Zodiac Killer's meticulous nature, perhaps his understanding of investigative procedures, may have been enough to distance him from the clinching evidence, leaving authorities perpetually frustrated. The San Francisco Chronicle became the primary conduit for the Zodiac Killer's macabre communications. Reporters received numerous letters, each one a mix of rambling paranoia, threats, and coded messages. Paul Avery, a crime reporter for the Chronicle, became a target himself, receiving letters that seemed to know intimate details about his life, escalating the personal terror. The newspaper's decision to publish the letters, while controversial, was fueled by the hope that someone would recognize the killer's handwriting, dialect, or the details within the messages, potentially leading to his capture. This symbiotic relationship between killer and media fueled the myth, keeping the Zodiac Killer firmly in the public consciousness for years. The investigation into the Zodiac Killer was one of the largest and most complex in California history, spanning multiple police departments and jurisdictions. Detectives painstakingly pieced together timelines, analyzed evidence, and interviewed thousands of potential witnesses and suspects. The sheer scope of the attacks, from Vallejo to San Francisco, and potentially beyond, made coordinating efforts a monumental task. Resources were stretched thin, and the killer's elusive nature, combined with his taunting communications, added layers of psychological pressure. The FBI even became involved, opening a file that detailed the extensive efforts to identify and apprehend this elusive murderer, highlighting the national significance of the case. Decades after the killings ceased, the Zodiac Killer's case didn't fade away. It transformed. The enigma of his identity and the unsolved mystery captivated amateur detectives, writers, and armchair sleuths. Online forums, books, and dedicated websites emerged, all dedicated to dissecting every clue, re-examining every suspect, and proposing new theories. The legend of the Zodiac Killer grew, fueled by the enduring hope that someone, somewhere, held the key to unlocking the truth. This widespread public fascination is a testament to the killer's enduring impact and the psychological grip the unsolved nature of his crimes continues to hold on our collective imagination. Then, in December 2020, after 54 long years of silence, a breakthrough. A team of amateur codebreakers comprised of David Orenchak, Sam Blake, and Jarl van Eyck finally cracked the notoriously difficult 340-symbol cipher. This wasn't a revelation of the killer's name, but rather another taunting message filled with boasts and a chilling disregard for his victims. The decoded text read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. The media talk about me, about my gun, about my life. I have to make them happy, so that is the way I get off." It confirmed his awareness of the ongoing investigation and his perverse enjoyment of the attention, a final chilling sign-off from behind his coded shield, revealing an ego driven by notoriety. Today, the sites where the Zodiac Killer committed his heinous acts are quiet, almost idyllic. Lake Herman Road, once a secluded lover's lane turned murder scene, now sees occasional hikers and local traffic. Presidio Heights in San Francisco, a once bustling neighborhood, carries no outward sign of the fatal shooting of Paul Stein. Yet, the shadows of the past linger. These tranquil locations serve as somber reminders of the terror that once gripped these areas and the unresolved questions that still haunt their history. The contrast between the serene present and the violent events of the past is stark, underscoring the enduring mystery surrounding one of America's most notorious unsolved cases. The name Arthur Lee Allen remains at the forefront of the Zodiac Killer investigation for many. However, the list of potential suspects is long and varied, including figures like Richard Gaikowski, a former newspaper editor, and Ross Sullivan, who is known to possess zodiac books and esoteric beliefs. Each suspect has had proponents and detractors, their potential guilt debated endlessly in forums and true crime discussions. The lack of definitive proof has allowed speculation to flourish, and the possibility that the Zodiac Killer may have died unmasked and unpunished is a chilling reality that continues to fuel the mystery. The question of who was the Zodiac Killer continues to haunt law enforcement and the public alike. The Zodiac Killer vanished from public view sometime in the early 1970s, his communications ceasing without explanation. Did he die? Did he move away, leaving his reign of terror behind? Or is he perhaps still living among us, an ordinary citizen, concealing an extraordinary, dark secret? The unsolved nature of the Zodiac Killer case has cemented his place in infamy, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of everyday life. The ciphers may have been broken, the suspects scrutinized, but the ultimate identity of the man who terrified Northern California and played a deadly game with the authorities forever remains an open, haunting question. The cipher has been unmasked, but the killer himself is still at large in our collective consciousness. His secrets remain, a chilling echo in the darkness.